Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight starts right now. I'm Amie Wells. Rhett Bryan is here, of course. Hi, Rhett.
Hello, Amie.
How are ya?
I'm great.
Oh, good. Good to hear it. And we have a special guest tonight. Coach Mac is here. We love to have Coach Mac here on Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight. Hi, Mac.
Well, it's very nice of you to say special.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, you are a special guest. You are the specialist of guests.
The specialist of guests.
The specialist of guests. And
let's go.
Before we continue on, I want to remember to say and remind everyone that they can visit Pinnacle. Visit titansbanking.com to learn more about their convenient mobile banking. Pinnacle Financial Partners, member FDIC. Go hang out with our friends at Pinnacle Financial. We love them very much.
Do that.
They are very good to us, and we love that they love Titans Tonight the way that they do. All right, the Tennessee Titans got a win. Hallelujah. They got a win over the Cleveland Browns. It was a great day. It was snowing. I wasn't there, which made it a better day for me because I was warm. But you guys were there, and it looked like, hearing you guys on the radio, seeing it on TV, that looked like good old-fashioned American football.
Well, it reminded me a whole lot, when I was in Chicago late in the year, playing in a lot of those types of environment, and it was snowing the whole time. Rhett made the comment when it started that it looked like they were playing in a snow globe because it wasn't just a blizzard, but it was just a constant. It was constantly coming down, and once you're there by that lake, it was all of that. All of it.
Well, it snows, and in there, everything just swirls around.
That's exactly what it was doing. And, of course, we always do the broadcast, if we can, with the windows open. And so it was a little bit chilly in that broadcast booth, too.
Did you guys notice, did they have that big dog run across the field?
The dog, they don't have the dog live anymore.
Oh,
the dog, and I miss the dog.
That had to be a liability.
No, I love the dog. And I looked for the dog when we walked in because I know the little house where they used to keep him back up inside. And I look for him, and they don't have the dog live anymore.
Dude, Mac, I got to tell you a story. The first time I ever went to that field was at Huntington Bank Field.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It wasn't that the last time I was there, but my very first time in Cleveland, I'm standing on the sidelines. I'm getting ready to do whatever my opening hit for the game was. And I didn't realize at the time, but I was standing right in front of the dog's house.
The house,
He has a little house on the sidelines. And what I didn't know is the dog is trained to run out the tunnel and make a beeline to that house. So what I think is this dog, that's like a mastiff.
It's a mastiff,
It's a big dog.
Yep.
And he comes shooting out of the tunnel, running right at me.
You thought he was coming for you?
And I was like, is this how I die? Mauled by a dog?
Bull mastiff.
Yeah, at a football game with all these people watching. What is this? I felt like a gladiator or something, with a lion.
I feel you, but I used to go because they kept him inside.
Uh-huh.
He had a little play. I'd go find him every time.
Of course you would.
Oh, he's a great dog.
Yeah.
They're gentle. They're very gentle. Very gentle, but they're massive.
Yeah, and when they're running 1,000,000 miles an hour at your face, they're a little scary.
To your point, Mac, being massive dogs, two adult mastiffs out in the Serengeti can actually kill a full-grown lion.
Well, yeah,
Is that real?
I'm serious.
Oh, yeah. Their heads are massive. You saw the one coming at you.
No joke.
Their heads are massive. It's a big dog, but they're not a vicious dog. They're just massive.
Well, they are if they're taking on a lion.
They're hungry.
Anyway, I understand I am taking us off the rails.
Animal facts have happened. I have animal nuggies.
Yeah, we're about
animal nuggies.
4 minutes into the show, and we're talking about lions and dogs. But stick with me here because this was a big win for the Tennessee Titans.
Definitely.
There's a lot of good to talk about. And Rhett, just for the team overall, what a boost that has to be.
Yeah, because, as we've mentioned in weeks past and a lot of times on Titans radio, there's been 13 different rookies that have contributed very heavily on the field to this product over the season. And when you look at the numbers, that's a quarter of your roster. And every Sunday, it's 9, 10, 11 rookies. It's very important for them to get a taste of victory as a tangible dividend in this to see this is what happens when we play 60 minutes of football and all three phases are helping one another in that process. And that is a prime example of what happened Sunday and how they were able to come out with the score ahead and get in the win column.
That's a massive number of young players playing too, and they haven't experienced much success. I mean, I've repeated this so many times that you guys are part of it, and the rewards in this business, it's not the money, it's not any of that, because that comes with it. Once you reach this level as a coach or a player, you're going to make money. But winning the game, there's just nothing like it. And I was talking with Tim Shaw today at practice. Tim was there, and you could just the joy on his face. And we'll talk about what happened with the whole block punt, because he's highly invested in his team. But that's the payoff. That's the payoff, is winning games.
Well, let's talk about that block punt, because it was one of a few big moments in this game, and it feels like a great place to start. Titans special teams have been just a sparkling part of this team all season long. It's been great to see what they have been able to do under the leadership of John Fossil. Bones has really just elevated that group overall and really has been able to do some great things, including breaking this punt block streak, or lack of streak, I guess. This was the first one. The James Williams Sr. blocked punt was the first time that had happened since 2012. For context, I didn't even work with this team yet when that happened, and I've been here for a very long time.
Well, I was here coaching when we brought Tim Shaw. We brought Tim Shaw and Patrick Bailey in as free agents to Alan Lowry was a special teams coach, and we really needed an upgrade on the special teams. That's why they were brought in here. Now, they were both linebackers, but they were special teams. They were special teams guys. And so they were in my room, and the lift that they gave the special teams was legitimate. It was legitimate. And Bones Fossil, I very close with Bones Fossil. You know that my history with him. I told you guys when we had a chance to hire him, and then they hired him, that this is going to be different. And it is completely different. And the buy-in and the production. And just talking with Tim Shaw today, and I asked him, I said, did you know it was coming? He said, yeah, they had. And again, I know things, and we know things that we're privileged and privy to, because that you can't talk about. Mm-hmm. But they knew that if everything went right, that they had a chance to get one. And Bones kept telling them, "This is coming, this is coming," and especially with what was going on. And so to see it come to fruition like that, and just guys, seriously, if you guys would have been there today, and to just see the smile on Tim Shaw's face sitting in that chair when I started talking to him about that, it was all worth it.
Well, Bones had even been talking about it last week in his media availability leading up to it. So my question was going to be, is that kismet, or is
it's
is there a little bit more that schematically or matchup wise they knew there was an opportunity?
It's schematically planned out. There's things. It's just like when you study tape, if you can get what we call tells. This is very much that.
Love that.
I love the fact that Tim Shaw, because Amie, you were here when he came to the facility that day at training camp and announced that he'd been diagnosed with ALS, and everyone did the ice bucket challenge when that was such a big deal 11 years ago.
Yep.
And as he became more a part of this franchise in the return with that news, they made a place for him in the locker room, and he was anointed as a Titan for life. And he has been, and he has taken that to heart. He's in their meeting room, he's at practice. And for these young men to see what an example he is, and then when you put on the tape and see what a special teamer he was, like, okay, there's the proof. But this guy, to see the level of respect that James Williams, who made the block, and he'd been getting closer every week, to see him and Chim Dike and these guys honor him, saying, this one's for Tim, this one's for T. It gets a little dusty when you start thinking about it, because Tim Shaw means a lot to this franchise. and what a very unique person he is, especially with how advanced his is now and having that motorized chair and not being able to speak and using electronics to do so, that he has that kind of impact with a phase of the game that has been exemplary this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Tim is still very much a contributor within the coaching and
Absolutely,
the evaluation. And I mean, the guy's writing reports after every game. He's watching the practice. He's doing all of the things to help that phase of the group, because to Mac's point, that was kind of his specialty. When he was a player, that was what he did.
He was the dude. He was the dude with that. I mean, anyway, it was a great, great moment. When it happened in the game, Rhett and I both jumped up because we realized what that meant, not only to him, but to all those players that have embraced him.
Yep, absolutely. Well, another exciting moment of the game. A little less dusty, but still exciting, was Tony Pollard in the game that he had. Being able to carry the ball 25 times for 161 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, one of which was 65 yards, which was great. It was his 11th career 100-yard rush game. Great game for him, not only within the context of this season, but his career as a whole. Rhett, great to see him finally have the breakthrough game that we've been waiting for.
Well, and the credit to the coaching staff and then to the players for scheming this up and getting ready for this, because in the conversation we had last week with Keith Bullock, and certainly with what Mac has been talking about in all of Titans radio availabilities, is that one of the best ways to try to neutralize and reduce the effect of a Myles Garrett is to have a healthy run game that you can operate off of. And so if you look at, I want to say it was like 141 of those 161 yards were gained on outside runs. They ran away from him and away in those outside zones. And then as Mac explained to me, is like, but what they did is, in him Myles Garrett trying to over pursue because he wants the sack record so bad, it created cutback lanes on that 65-yarder. He was able to zig and zag like that. And it's hard to believe that those were career days for him, and his longest run and his run total for a single game. But he had all those years in Dallas where Ezekiel Elliott was the horse in this.
Yep.
And so as Zeke got older, he was starting to be a little more of the feature back. He came here as a free agent, and he's finally been able to come to fruition with those things.
You said something really interesting that made me jump and literally put my hands in the air. Mac, are you telling me that part of scheming this thing up was taking advantage of the fact that he is so close to this goal, he is probably going to be a little over-aggressive trying to accomplish it?
Well, I mean, and again,
we don't know.
Yes, we do.
Maybe Amie and I don't, but Mac
But
does.
Mac does.
Yes.
That's why we have him here on Titans Tonight.
We're privileged that I get to watch practice every day. I know some things are coming, and of course, the ability to keep the sanctity of being allowed on the inside is something you always have to keep in mind. But watching them practice and seeing what they do, because schematically, most of the time in that defense, they line up in a wide 9. I coached in the wide 9 for years. And so what has to happen is because you're lined up so wide with your anchor points, especially on the edge, then there's things that your people in the second and third level have to be able to fill all these gaps. Now, when you started watching practice, and they did a really good job of personnel scheming formations pre and post snap. They either had 2 people over there on that one side to chip, or he was with motion, he was on the single side and they were going away. And they weren't just running outside zones, they were running what we call GT pulls. They were pulling, blocking down and pulling. And when they do that, it creates space. And by creating that type of space, and the wide 9s are coming up the field, if you can get a hat on a hat, and when you start watching some of those clear view runs as to where he wasn't hit before he got downfield, they got a hat on everybody at the second level, and then the receivers and the tight ends blocking at the third level. I mean, it was a thing of beauty to watch. And then what they started doing, when they started over-adjusting to that, then they would start play side and then cut back. I mean, it was a really good game plan, but it took a lot of it takes patience, and it takes a lot of discipline with your offense to be able to do that. I give the coaching staff and these players huge credit for that, because, and again, the mindset, and you could just, I mean, everybody was, the people that don't know were saying, well, he's going to set the sack record against the Titans. They weren't going to allow that to happen, but they had a legitimate plan to not be able to let the defense, which they're very good, especially if they can get you in third and chains, of bringing a lot of heat that's hard to handle. I mean, it's the worst game that he's had as far as pressure. I'm talking about Myles Garrett, the worst that he's had. And this guy's a walking gold jacket. He's a walking gold jacket right now. So there's a major kudos to this coaching staff and to these players for what they did. Now, Tony Pollard is a good back, and Tony Pollard is a physical back, but that was a complete team effort, and it took a lot of work during the week. I mean, I could watch during the week, and I went, this has got a chance. This has got a chance. And they were able to stick with it. And if you have success doing it and you're scoring touchdowns and you are separating the score on your side of it, it makes it even better.
Mac, I want to follow up with one thing. In hindsight, did the absence of Malik Collins help anything at all? Because he had torn a quad the week before against the 49ers. And he was having a great
absolutely
year.
Did.
And those tandems together with he and Myles, I would think that would be a little bit of some of that too.
Well, and what happens is when you're running that kind of a scheme against the interior people, they're always having to take on down blocks. The better players can shoulder and can fight through those down blocks. But as you said, they had one of their horses out. And so, yeah, it helped. Sure it did.
There's a lot to talk about still, but we need to take a break. There will be more Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight after this. Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight continues on. For more information about Titans Banking from Pinnacle, visit titansbanking.com. There's a lot of details there, so check them out. Member FDIC. I'm Amie Wells. Rhett is here. Mac is here. If you are just joining us, we have covered in full detail the Titans' victory over the Cleveland Browns. So now it is time to turn the page to the San Francisco 49ers. Less snowy, still a little chilly because it's the Bay Area, so take a jacket. But there's a lot to talk about. And so, Rhett, if you have some hot and fresh Rhett nuggies for us,
Fresh.
I really think that we would appreciate that, getting to know this team that is coming off a painfully late bye week for them.
The last one you can have.
Yeah, like a week 13 bye is tough potatoes.
Indeed.
But they will be rested, you would assume. And maybe that's good for them because they've been hit with a lot of injuries.
Yes, they have.
And before Rhett starts on these beautiful, fresh nuggies.
It's funnier when you say it.
Agree.
Their last opponent was Cleveland, which is pretty unusual. Go ahead, Rhett.
And Myles Garrett had 3 quarterback sacks in that game.
Well, look at that.
So I'm going to start with the offense because Mac has so much knowledge about this from his time going back to when he started in the league with the Bears and facing Bill Walsh's West Coast offense. That's what this is in its current emanation under Kyle Shanahan. Brock Purdy had turf toe, missed 8 games this year over 2 different windows, I'll say.
There you go.
He has 3-0 since he's returned. And currently 66% of his passes he's connected on completion-wise, 1147 for 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He had 3 picks in a game a couple of weeks ago. He's only been sacked 4 times, though. But the key with this is the mobility that he has come back with this turf toe. He had a 2-yard touchdown run against Cleveland a couple weeks back. So they feel like they've got a little more mobility with that. But as it has been since he was traded there and kind of how he works through his career, Christian McCaffrey is the engine that makes this run. 237 carries. That is currently 3rd in the league among backs. A lot of carries with 4 games left. 849 yards on the ground, 8 touchdowns. He's 5th in the NFL in receptions, 85 catches, 805, and another 5 touchdowns. Now, Couple things with that. Prior to this game, in fact, prior to their game with the Cleveland Browns, he had forced a league-high 83 missed tackles. So you can tell he is upright and healthy because he battled injuries all last year. So you can do the quick math. It's over 1,600 yards right there, heading towards 1,000 of each. And I say that to say he could become the first player in NFL history to have 2 seasons with 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. There are 3 people who've had that distinction one time in one season in the 106 years of the NFL before that. He's done it, obviously. Marshall Faulk did it with the greatest show on turf in 1999. And then another 49er great that was a part of the dynasty and all their Super Bowl wins in Roger Craig. He was the first guy to actually do it. So to just tell you, that is where this thing starts and ends for the most part of how much the ball goes through his hands. Obviously, Juwan Jennings, the wide receiver, has had a lot of health issues, busted ribs, whatever. 41 catches for 458 yards, 5 touchdowns. Tight end George Kittle has had his injury issues, 37 for 396, and another 5 touchdowns. They are currently top 10 in passing at 242 yards per game, top 10 in passing yards per play at just over 7 yards per play. So think about that in terms of getting another set of downs. Number 12 in yards after catch at 1,532 for the season. 24th in average separation per catch at just 3.3 yards, which Mac will explain. This offense creates this, and then the personnel they have guys that kind of combat their way down the field. They're 25th in rushing at 98.5 yards per game.
Yeah, and I mean that's why I love doing this stuff with Rhett, because he digs into it. And look, I go back to 1986 with this offense with Bill Walsh when the first iteration of it came out there with the 49ers. And, of course, the Bears and the 49ers were 2 of the premier teams in the league at the time. And so defensively, getting ready for it, we realized very quickly, first of all, the genesis of this offense has stood the test of time because it's throughout the league now. The core principles of it are throughout the league. So you've got to be very, very disciplined when you're playing this offense with your defense because they create space. They create space with a lot of different looks, a lot of different motions, a lot of different personnel groups. Also, Kyle Shanahan is really good, just like Mike Shanahan was, just like all of these offshoots from that tree are at being able to stack calls. And when I talk about stacking calls, they're very, very good at setting plays up. Defensively, you've got to be very, very disciplined, and you've got to. It takes intensive film study to understand what they're trying to do to you because there is a whole lot of things that go on pre-snap and then post-snap, and they create space. They create a lot of space. I defense Roger Craig. I defense Joe Montana. I know what it is. His talk about Brock Purdy, a quarterback in this, Joe Montana, one of the all-time greats, was not one of the most elite athletes, but he was a distributor of the football, and he was a point guard. And you've got to be a point guard as a quarterback in this because it has to happen on timing. It has to be very, very precise. Brock Purdy is perfect at that. So when I started watching this tape, I had so many flashbacks and some PTSD, getting ready for it because it challenges you. And we were doing it with an elite defense, but I mean it challenges you mentally a lot. And so it's going to take a lot of work at practice. They've got to be very disciplined as far as knowing what they're going to face and what's going on. It's a completely different look than what they got last week. And if somebody really knows how to run this offense, which clearly, Kyle Shanahan does, then it presents problems. That's why they're still a 9-4 team, even though they've had all these injuries, because the system itself is, if you know what's going on with it, it's very efficient. It's very, very efficient. And so that's what we're looking at. And
I'll follow up, Mac, with this. You can tell the injuries have been a part because when you look at what the defense allows, and we're going to get to the defensive nuggets here, but they allow almost 21 points a game. Offensively, they're 16th in the league, scoring just a little over 23 points a game. But not a whole lot to play with there. So that tells you if this thing is healthy and running, it's probably a little greater margin of point differential there. This is not a nuggie. This is more of a tendy in this one in terms of how important this is for the Titans defense. Number 2 in the National Football League, they are in third down efficiency, over 48% of the time. You must be ready to go if you get them to third down.
Well, and he's 100% right, but that goes to the efficiency on first and second down. Very seldom with this offense, very seldom are they third and double digit. I mean, they progress the chains as well as anybody. And as I said, the genesis of this, all the different offshoots of this tree that are around the league right now, you can see it.
It's interesting to mention the impact that all of the injuries has, because I would guess that when you are studying a team like this, that has to be so precise and so disciplined about what they're doing, but the personnel is changing throughout the course of the season. Does that change what you're seeing a little bit?
That's a really great point. You defense, when you're playing something like this, you clearly always are going personnel match, but you defense the system.
Okay, interesting.
You defense the system because, I mean, and it's a great point. Now, the better players that are there, clearly, the more success you're going to have. But the system itself holds up through injuries. It really does. But first of all, the person installing and calling it has to get it, understand it, and then the quarterback has to understand it.
Yeah.
The quarterback is so important in this offense.
And maybe put a guy on Christian McCaffrey. It sounds like he's a pretty good player.
Well, but see, and Roger Craig, I mean, you talk about Cleveland. It reminded me so much of when we went to Berlin for a week with the 49ers when I was with the Bears. Practice against them for a week. And just to watch how clean the practice was, and what went on with the quarterback and just how they practiced and what you did. I mean, it was a challenge in practice. It really was. I mean, so it's not a shock to me that they're still able to do it with people hurt.
Amie, you remember you were on the road with us when we went to Bank of America Field in Charlotte to take on the Panthers in the 2019 season, and that was when a younger version of Christian McCaffrey was there. And I remember us talking in pregame about it was somewhere around 50%, maybe a little more, of how many touches went through Christian McCaffrey's hands, and that was in Carolina, where they didn't have all the weaponry and one of the disciples of this system in what Kyle Shanahan is in his current head coach.
Yep.
It's just a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge defensively. And it's not only a physical challenge to be able to make those plays in space. It's a mental challenge too, to parse it all out when it's happening.
All right, well, mental challenge still to come here on Titans Tonight. When we come back from this break, we are going to talk about the 49ers defense, more hot and fresh Rhett Nuggies on the way. Stick around. Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight continues on. Rhett's here, I'm here, Max here, the gang's all here, and we are moving on to talk about the 49ers defense. More Rhett Nuggies on the way. Rhett, this team has seen, the Tennessee Titans being this team, have seen so many strong defenses throughout the course of this season. Week after week, top 5, top 3, top 2. I mean, statistically, the defenses that we've faced on paper have been wild and crazy. Is this another one of those, Rhett?
Potentially, and really because Robert Saleh is back as the defensive coordinator there, but they have had a massive exodus of players and free agents that were starters in the previous year, and then the other thing is they're missing their all-world linebacker in
Fred
Warner, who, from what I understand, got hurt early enough in the season. He's really working like crazy to try to get back for a playoff run later on in a few weeks. But they miss him in this. The numbers are not so daunting on paper, but I think Mac will explain to you it's the execution and the operation of the defense is what is the big deal in this. I start with the run defense numbers because the Titans have just come off of their best game in that as a team in 2025. They're currently number 12 against the run, allowing 103.8 yards per game. Top 5 in runs of 10-plus yards allowed, which is important. Only 26 of those through the entire season up to this point. They only allow just a little under 4.1 yards per carry. I think the interesting thing, the bulk of their quarterback sacks come from Cleveland Ferrell and from Bryce Huff. They both have 4 apiece. They only have 16 as a team. So that tells you what they've been missing. They are last in quarterback pressure percentage, 28th in quarterback pressures, period. And Mac will explain now what some of the issues have been, and the health of it has been the thing. They still operate very succinctly under Robert Saleh.
Yeah, and this defense is as sound structurally as any defense you're going to play. And his defense he's never been one to bring a whole lot of pressure, at one time, but they're so technique sound. And we talk about their offense creating space. Their defense doesn't allow much space. They just really don't, because they fit together so well. I mean, it's like a Lego set. When one group moves, they all move together. It's very well coordinated, very well. Robert Saleh is one of the best. They're very well coordinated, and Fred Warner is a huge part of this, and missing Fred Warner is a big, big part of it, but they're still able to survive it for 2 reasons. First of all, offensively, they can possess the football. They chew clock, and they're able to eat time, but defensively, they don't allow a lot of explosives. They just don't do it, and it's up front. And when you start watching, as he said, they've got 8 sacks from 2 guys. You know where it's coming from the edge, but they don't allow much space for things to happen. You've got to be just as you have to be very precise mentally against their offense with your defense, you got to be very precise with your offense, because they are going to fit. You're going to know where they are, but they're going to fit up perfectly most all of the time. And so that's why they're sitting there at 9-4, even though they've had some injuries, because and plus, look, this group with Shanahan, they've been together for a while, and so they have a lot of structure that those players have been involved with quite a while. They don't change much, and that's pretty important. And getting Saleh back as a coordinator was a big boost for this team.
I'll tell you something else too. Just looking at their depth chart on defense, much like the Titans, it's a youth movement there. For them, it's a departure of free agents and also injury situations. Malik Mustafa, second-year guy. Upton Stout, a rookie from Western Kentucky. Diamador Lenore hasn't been in the league that long at all. Sam Okuwanu was here not that long ago. I mean, I just looking through this, Alfred Collins is a D-tackle that was from Texas that was drafted this year. There's a lot of young fellas throughout the 3 levels of that defense.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. I'm sorry, Mac. Mac, if you're the Titans offense, I'm so sorry.
Well, I mean, you're looking at me sometimes like my dogs used to look at me.
No,
I'm kind of standing there, and they're wanting some kind of signal from me about which way to go. Yeah. And I'm sitting here looking at you going, okay.
I thought you were going to talk. You just didn't, and so I didn't. Mac, for the Tennessee Titans, as they're getting ready to go against a defense like this, what can they do to have the same level of productivity that we saw against the Cleveland Browns? Now, everything wasn't perfect against the Browns, and I acknowledge that, but they were able to have a higher level of productivity than we have seen in previous games.
They were very disciplined. They were very disciplined in what they did, and they need some success early to keep them on track with the run game. I mean, the run game involves so much, but if you got success early, and here's the other thing too, you scored 31 points in that game. It's been a while since the Titans have scored 31 points. You've got to get separation of score somehow. And look, it came about from a lot of ways. We talked about the block punt. We talked about the ability to get off the field on 3rd down. All those things have to dovetail with each other to do it. But this is a different type of a challenge. But the mindset going in, I would assume. And again, I'll get to watch practice, so I can't say what's happening at practice because that's out of bounds. I can't do that, and I won't ever. But the focus has got to shift from a different mindset from playing Cleveland to playing these guys because, as we said, it's distinctly a different operation.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. And turning the page is an important part, not only of just moving on through the course of a football season, but teaching a young team how to turn that page, not rest on what happened in the previous game.
That's a great
and
point.
continuing to move on.
That's a perfect point, Amie. I mean, you couldn't be more right.
Let's look at some of their passing numbers on defense against the pass. 25th in yards allowed at 232. Their passing yards per play, over 6.5 yards allowed right there. That's number 20 right now. They are nearly last in interception rate. They are last in sacks per pass attempt because we said they only had 16 quarterback sacks among the entire team. They're 14th in third down percentage, allowing just a little over 38.5%. So there's opportunities there. But again, I think the crux of what Mac is saying is if you can get all three phases chugging along at the same thing, you really have a chance to help yourself. But more importantly, the scoring part of it is huge. I mean, you can go down there on a first drive and put 7 on the board instead of 3. There's a great way to start.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, Rhett digs deep into this stuff, and I dig deep into tape. And with all of that being said, they've got 9 wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've got 9 wins, so that tells you that they've got a solid foundation.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a solid foundation here on Titans Tonight as well, and we are going to return to that when we get back from this break. More conversation after this. The final segment of Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight rolls on, and guys, I want to talk about one of the hot topics floating around the NFL right now, and it's happening in our very own neighborhood, the AFC South. I love crazy things and things that happen in Indianapolis, so this feels like a really good fit for me personally. But the Indianapolis Colts announced earlier this week that they were signing Phillip Rivers to their practice squad. And if you're wondering, is there another Phillip Rivers that we don't know about? The answer is no. There isn't. It's the same one. Phillip Rivers, who hasn't played since 2020, when he was signed to the Indianapolis Colts. He is currently 44. Yeah, that's what I thought. And so this is a little unconventional. He's been out for 5 years. He's not the youngest person to play the sport. And there's like the Hall of Fame of it all kind of lingering about. So, guys, are you surprised by this? A, that Phillip Rivers would want to come back and play, or B, that the Indianapolis Colts would want him on their team?
I'm surprised that he would come back.
Yeah.
But to the point of Phillip Rivers has always been a quarterback that his game is kind of conducive to not having to move around a whole lot. He was as smart a quarterback as there ever has been. I've defensed him a lot of times. And plus, I think with the offense that they have running up there, first of all, they've got a great running back. You know, they got somebody that can help him. But for a guy to come in, and if there's ever a guy that could come in and just navigate it from the jump, it would be him, because he's really a smart dude. He's a smart dude. But 44 years old and being out of it for 5, and the whole Hall of Fame thing is very interesting, because if he takes one snap in the game, then his 5-year clock resets.
Which is crazy.
And he's one of the 26 semifinalists for the 2026 class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame here in just a few weeks. That would be announced at the NFL Honors the week of Super Bowl 60. That is literally just a few weeks away.
So, do we think he doesn't care?
Well, no, he cares.
He
cares. Sure, he does. He cares, but at the same time, I mean, he's one of 26 finalists. How many are they gonna do?
Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Probably not.
And so there might be the key of what we're learning. Because here's the other parts of all of this. Because that is very interesting. That you're this close to the doorstep, and you're like, yeah, you want to go back 5 years? Sure.
It's like Chutes and Ladders.
But here's the thing. They don't have great game, by the way.
It is.
And a good analogy.
Yeah.
Great analogy.
They don't have a lot of options.
Nope.
So on top of Daniel Jones tearing his Achilles,
yeah,
Riley Leonard, who they drafted from Notre Dame, he has an injury.
Yeah.
So they got to have somebody. Now, here's the connect. Shane Steichen was an assistant in San Diego, so they know each other.
Yeah.
They know
Yes,
the drill.
they
They know, and so he's done this before. He's been there, done that. Now they're going on the road. It's at Seattle. It's a 3:25 kick on Sunday afternoon, so it's a long haul. But there's where we are, is that they got to have somebody to do this. Like, you can say you sign him with the practice squad all you want. He's going to play on Sunday.
Yeah.
They don't have a whole lot of options.
Well, what's crazy to me is Phillip Rivers, and Mac, you brought this up. He has never been a super mobile guy.
No.
And we kind of made jokes 5 years ago that, like, well, he's getting up there. He wasn't mobile before. Now he's really not moving around. I mean, should we get him a chair? Like, I don't want to make old people jokes because 44 is very young, but, like,
I think she's suggesting he
Not-
needs a hover round.
not in football world.
You're
like,
talking dog years now.
yeah, I mean, in dog years, he's like 300.
He'll get. Tell you one thing though, his game has always been, he gets rid of the football.
Bingo.
Yeah.
He gets rid of it. He's never been a guy to check his record as far as number of sacks that he's taken in his career. I mean, I've defensed him. I've been against him.
And Mac's right. He's got a great running back in Jonathan Taylor to help distribute some of those things.
But still, man,
And here's the other thing. He has 13, 14, 18, 100 children, whatever it is, and another game check couldn't hurt.
he does have 100 children. I want to know
He has
the
been coaching high school football, right?
Yeah, I think so. But, like, what conversation did you have with your wife? Like,
You know what?
honey, guess what?
First of all,
I have an idea.
he's got 13 children, so you know,
Yeah.
she's probably good for anything.
She's down for whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Who
So
even cares?
She's been through it.
One less mouth to feed.
Yeah, just go ahead and get out of the house.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah, neat. Get out.
Yeah.
Because I have 14 kids when you're here.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
go to Seattle this weekend,
Go.
sure.
Take a couple of them with you.
Yeah, sure.
But
Pick a
it's
few.
a very, very unique situation. Very unique, and I can see why it would pique your interest because you like strange things.
I do like
Well,
strange
she likes
things.
at least the drama of it all.
Oh, she loves it.
Well, it's just when you really break it down and think about it, when guys retire, there is such a finality to that, especially a quarterback who played at such a high level and played for so long. And there's just all right, the chapter is over, and now we begin this new
Think about
thing.
this, though. He retired. I mean, just, he's 44, correct?
Yeah.
So retired 5 years ago. And that's when he retired. So
Yeah.
he wasn't a young dude when he retired.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, but the fact of the matter is, he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
He's been healthy.
Well, not that van.
And at the quarterback spot, and Rhett brings up a great point about Steichen. I mean, just the initial shock of it was like, what the what? But then you go, okay, it makes, and Rhett is correct in this too. They don't have much choice.
Yeah, and you guys are bringing so much sanity to this situation, which isn't exactly
it's
what I was
dampening
looking for.
the thing for you, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I was really looking for someone to kind of
they
stir
hit
this
the
up a
bat
little
signal
bit.
on this, the Phillips Rivers signal in the sky.
And he came in that
over North
van.
Alabama, and
Yeah, that he tricked out so he could watch tape while he was sitting in LA traffic. Do we remember this thing? He got
Yeah.
that Sprinter van and a driver, and he was like, I'm going to be home every night.
You're 100% right.
Like, I'm just going to watch tape in the back of this Sprinter van and have
So that he
someone
can have
drive me to
time
and
with
from.
his kids.
Yeah, because he wanted to see his kids, whatever.
Right.
That's really nice. But, like, there's a lot of them so they can hang out together if they need to. Like,
he's got a whole basketball team plus two.
yeah, like, I mean, did he bring the van to Indianapolis? I have so many questions about this, and nobody's really on my level with this. I think it's
Amie,
fascinating.
can I just say something?
I hope he plays.
I think he's
Most
gonna.
people are on your level with a lot of things, so
Yeah.
this is normal.
I know, but I was really hoping you guys would match my crazy a little bit. Like, I just think this is wild, and I understand not having a ton of options when it comes to Like, there aren't a lot of NFL quarterbacks just lying around. That's a tough position to be in.
You talk about supply and demand.
Yeah, a lot of demand, very little supply, especially this time of year.
Exactly.
Um,
That's it in a nutshell.
And again, with the sanity, like, I understand it, but this feels a little wild to me.
But the fit with the system is there, and the fit with the coach is there. Just what Rhett brought up. But I'm so glad that it's got you perplexed.
Well,
like,
and there are
it?
a little fewer and further between, but there have been examples of this where people have come out of the woodwork to do something.
Yeah.
And at the quarterback position, doesn't happen very often, but here we are.
How tough of a sell do you think this is to everybody else? Like
A sell to who?
to the other, like, who was the first person that said, "Do we call Phillip Rivers?"
Steichen.
Yeah.
And so did everybody else go, "Brr?" Like, what?
Nobody else had another option.
Isn't he retired?
Well, but here's the other part of it. Those guys in that locker room, guys on a short list for Hall of Fame, so he definitely had a career. So you got.
Oh yeah, no,
He's got the, as Mac would say, the water in his bucket. So
he walks
it's
in
just
with
how much
juice.
rust is on the bucket.
You're just not. I mean, you weren't just picking up a hobo off the street.
Rhett calling his bucket rusty is more of what I was looking for. That's more of what I was shooting for. No, I think I'm excited to have
watch.
this.
I agree with you. It's fascinating to watch. There's still a month left, and they're still in the mix. And so, I mean, I agree with you. One thing, it's going to be fascinating to watch.
I think it's going to be fun to watch. There's still a lot of competition at the top of the AFC South in terms of, I mean, they're only out a game behind the Jags. So, I mean, there's still a lot to play for within that, and having it happening in our own neighborhood kind of brings a level of excitement that I am here for. I'm here for the drama, just, if nothing else, I'm here for the drama of it all.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There might be something wrong with that, but whatever. I'm here for it anyway. More drama coming in San Francisco when the Titans head out to take on the 49ers. It should be a lot of fun. It's a road game, so that means West Coast time, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure that you remember, kickoff for this game is at 3:25 Central Time. This is not a noon kick for you people in Tennessee. 3:25 Central Time. Titans Radio goes on the air at 2:30 Central Time with Titans Countdown. The whole gang will be there, and there will be a lot to talk about. So we hope you tune in and then catch Mac and Taylor Zarzer with the call at 3:25 Central Time. For Rhett Bryan, who's always here, and we so do appreciate it.
Glad.
And Coach Mac, our very special guest.
Very special guest.
The specialist of all guests. I am Amie Wells, thanking you for joining in for this edition of Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight. See you later.